We are at Super Return Africa. Stuart, you've been investing for over 20 years, or close to 20 years in Africa, and your firm, I know you've been very active, especially in the South African market. Do you think there's been a change for private equity over the years, or are the opportunities still there in South Africa?
It's a great question. There are lots of, there's been a huge amount of evolution in the industry. So actually Ethos has been in the industry for 30 years. Okay. And when we started out, the differentiators were access to leverage, buying well and selling well. Mm-hmm. And if you had those capabilities as a firm, you could earn returns that would then attract investors. Mm-hmm. Where we are today, those things are commoditized out of the value chain. Mm-hmm. And you make returns by adding value to the businesses that you buy. And building that capability in your firm is critical to competing and staying ahead of the return curve and attracting investors into future funds. Everyone can get access to debt these days, and the differences in debt packages don't differentiate a bit. Processes run both entry and exit. Mm-hmm. So you know the opportunity to arbitrage in the multiple has gone. So really it all has become about what you do with those businesses. And when we analyze our returns, way north of 50% of the return is driven by earnings growth. Okay. And so the firms have had to build a capability set that is very different from when we started out. Okay. And they have to actively invest in that capability set, I think, to stay ahead of the curve in a mature market like South Africa. The second part of your question was, are there opportunities? There are absolutely opportunities. The big deals on the continent take place in South Africa just because it is a mature market. And the deal market is cyclical, so you have ebbs and flows. We've been through a cycle, I think, where there's been low deal flow. 2014 has seen a lot more deal flow, both from an entry and exit perspective. And when the stats come out, I think they'll reflect that.
Okay. Well, that's quite interesting. Something that we've seen in recent times is the evolution of the secondaries market, and I think South Africa is a key player in this, or a key market in this. How do you see that still evolving? Is that going to be a huge market for private equity in terms of secondaries?
I think it's going to be an important source of deal flow. Okay. The market is mature. The private equity market in South Africa is mature, and there are maturing private equity portfolios. We're certainly seeing in 2014 a number of processes being run by sponsors who are starting to sell assets out of their existing funds. Obviously, it is quite a contentious for investors buying, one sponsor buying from another sponsor. We heard a presentation earlier today that really highlighted the risks of that. Absolutely. So I think it's important that when a GP is looking at buying a secondary asset, particularly out of an auction, that a red flag goes up and they are very clear on the strategy and the value that they can bring to that particular asset, and be very clear that that is a thesis that can be executed by them and their team and the management team that's going to go into that business. If you don't have that clarity, the risks are you may land up with a suboptimal outcome in that investment. But it certainly is a source of deal flow. It's an important source of deal flow. And as long as there is another story of growth or expansion or optimization in that portfolio company that's being sold and being bought by another GP, I think there is certainly a cause for looking at those assets closely.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. This has been very exciting. Thanks for taking the time.